Welcome back to my channel. Made some progress since my last video. So we can see here, we now have built some edges up around our playing field. We threw a couple more buildings. And the big thing is we have added a VR rig. So now instead of relying on just a built-in scene camera, we have a rig that will allow us to, let's see right here, to actually enter the environment in VR, see our controllers. No movement yet, but it does allow us to kind of control the game in that virtual reality, the immersed environment. In order to do this, the initial game I created, I had scales everything at the standard 1 scale. It doesn't quite work so well because we're not trying to run around and see these buildings full size. So I had to basically shrink everything down. I made it about a third of their original size. And then I took us and I moved us up. Right now we can see that we're currently about 47 up, so we're looking down on that scene, making everything look a little bit smaller as well. Some issues I started to run into is looking at the performance of the Oculus Quest. The assets I'm using happen to have a lot of vertices. So we come over here, pull up our stats. We can see, right, 126, 101. The goal is to have those as small as possible. So the more buildings I throw in here, the more graphically intense the game is, the worse off it will run in the environment. So I think what I'll end up probably doing is just making some simple kind of barriers throughout that you have to navigate around instead of having the cool scenery, at least to get something playable out, and then see if I can optimize and reduce the number of triangles in each of my assets. Other than that, I think that's kind of where I'm at. Let's go ahead and we'll jump in VR and kind of see where we are there. All right, so here we are in VR. This is Oculus Quest Link, which is pretty cool. Allows you to see your desktop while in VR. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and start the game. And we can see, as we mentioned, once it loads up, here we are in environment. We have the ability to use our headset to look around. We have our 2 controls in front of us with working graphics. So as I can press the triggers, we see the triggers move. Joysticks, so it's pretty cool to have that rig built in, handle all that for us. You can see we're looking down on the scene. Currently we're stationary. I haven't put any way for us to move throughout the scene. However, that's something that I'll probably add so you can move around and get different aspects on the environment as you're playing. Alright, so we started the game. We can see now our tank has appeared, and as we look at our controllers here, we can see I have the joysticks that allow us to move. So you can kind of play like a typical video game, right? Use the joysticks. So move forward, we can drive around. As the joystick goes left and right, we can rotate, back up. Have the ability to fire the projectiles using the trigger here. So I can pull the trigger and launch a projectile. And then our right joystick right now allows us to move that turret around. So we have kind of full functionality here. At some point, I'm thinking about messing with controllers and potentially adding it so you can use your controller to point at targets and the turret will follow kind of that line around wherever your controller is pointing. Maybe making it easier. I'm not sure how challenging the game will be trying to manipulate the controller, the joystick with your controller. So we can see here single player is working. However, the idea behind this is the multiplayer. So once again, if you give me a second, see if we can load in a multiplayer. And sure enough, there we go. We can see we have a second character has entered the game. And let's go ahead and we'll see if we can try to hit it. And there we go. So we're still able to give damage. I do have a slight bug in the game where sometimes the projectiles interact with the tank as they leave, making it so that they don't actually ever go anywhere. So we'll see if we can get to work maybe off the back of the tank. There we go. And so that's where we're currently at. We'd like to add the ability to hopefully join the game using a user interface within VR. Also, I'm looking to choose the spawn point so that you can kind of click with me where you want to start the tank, or if you get destroyed, that you'll be lost, and then you'll be able to respawn again with a new tank. So a lot of different things that I'm going to work on. There's obviously still some bugs in here. Maybe I'll try to create a first basic level, getting rid of some of the scenery that we have here, but a lot of little things to continue to work on, and hopefully you'll check back in my next update, and soon hopefully we'll have something that I can deploy, and have anybody that wants to give a shot a chance to join in. Maybe even add some AI, so if no one else is playing with you, you'll still have the ability to just mess around in VR and play what I hope to be a kind of cool little tank game. Thanks.